need you to get done. Bye-bye. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Hey, I'm about to do this, so I need you to go elsewhere. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm here to talk about Senior Airman Below the Zone, also known as BTZ. And I wanted to tell you guys my experience and how I was awarded that early promotion and kind of explain my tips and tricks, what it is, and try to give you this advice that I can. First of all, these are all opinions of me and not of the Air Force. Again, how I got there, what works for one person might work for somebody else, but I do want to kind of guide you in the right direction for your upcoming board. So yeah, let's get into it. So first of all, what is Below the Zone? That is going to be a early promotion for Airman First Class going to Senior Airman. You get it 6 months early. It's a competitive thing. Typically, depending on your base, you go up against your wing. So multiple airmen all around the base. Personally, for me, I was the only one out of my squadron that was going at that time. And it also has to depend on when you pinned on A1C and your enlistment date and all those things. So you actually can find out when you're eligible for that board period. And if you don't know how to find that, ask your supervisors, ask your leaders to point you in that direction. BTZ is a two-step process, which it contains your 1206 package and also your board interview. First things first, like bottom line advice, when you get to your base or when you find out it's a goal of yours or whatever the case is, let your supervisor know that BTZ is a goal for you. That means if they're a worthy supervisor, they're going to advocate for you. They're going to give you the opportunities that you need to strengthen your package. They're going to guide you and lead you in the right direction. So let them know, hey, this is something I am interested in. Help me get there, and kind of pave the way for you as far as direction and guidance, and so you can put in the work to earn that rank. My second piece of advice to start off is see if your base offers BTZ mock boards. Mine did. It was a 2-day course where one of our tech sergeants, he taught a group of airmen. It was me and 5 other people. And he just went through, hey, this is what BTZ is, this is what they're looking for, this is what you need to know. And then we practiced interviews. And so the second day, we actually had a mock board, and it was a panel of tech sergeants, but at the real board, it will be a panel of chiefs from all around the base. So I'll be honest, I was very nervous for the mock boards. I think it was mainly just a mixture of not knowing what to expect and maybe not feeling adequate enough. Like, what if I don't know what I'm talking about? But I do want to help give you pointers into ensuring that you do know what you're talking about, or that you do know how to properly answer a question, even if you don't know the answer to it. So like I said, your BTZ package is your BTZ promotion is going to have to do based off your package and your board. Your package is going to show those leadership qualities. It's going to show your whole airman concept and just how you are being a multi-capable airman and just being the best you can be on paper. They're gonna read about you before they even meet you. However, your actual board, that's how you sell yourself. That's how they see your personality, your confidence, your military bearing, which is very important. So you wanna make sure that you're giving them the other side of you, because they've seen you on paper, they've seen your work ethic, but now they want to meet, the person behind it, the face behind it. Show them who you are, where you come from, and why you deserve this rank. All right, so building your package. Obviously, you're gonna need the help of your supervisor and other NCOs. Your package should go through what's called murder boards, and that's where a group of NCOs come together. They basically just pick and readjust and attack your package. They murder it. They're rewording it, they're gathering more information. They're trying to get as much as they can into one bullet, and a bullet is it's a couple sentences. So my package specifically, I went through so many murder boards, and they were always asking me more details, and they were phrasing it. I wasn't a part of those murder boards, but I have been able to sit in on other murder boards before, and it's a very interesting process. So I would encourage you, if you have the opportunity to sit in on any murder board, if not your BTZ package one, to do that and like see how the NCO mind and it's not even just NCOs, like my commander was at the one that I was at too, so but just see how these, you know, senior enlisted leaders and people above you, how that Air Force brain works, how that Air Force lingo works, and just kind of understand the nature of packages more, and bullets to be specific. So when you are finding opportunities to build your package, you want to make sure that they show leadership. You want to make sure they have great impact, whether that's what's coming out of it, or maybe like a revenue, or how much you're saving the Air Force, or like you want numbers. That is the most important part. Whenever you complete a task, a volunteer opportunity, anything like that, write it down, and write down as many details as you can. How many people were there? How many people were involved with a specific thing? What did you specifically do is honorable and memorable about the specific bullet? You want to know the effect of it. What is the impact that you caused? Like, for example, I'm not gonna pick, hey, I was a proffer at this ceremony. It's like, okay, congratulations. What was the meaning of it? What was the impact of that? That's not a strong bullet. That's not something I would have on my 1206. You want like, hey, I directed this group of people for this event. It was a wing event, open to this many people. This is the point of it, the meaning of it, the impact that it had. I feel like I don't have the words right now to adequately describe what I'm trying to describe, so please bear with me. So it's an opportunity to show your awards. Did you win anything? Was your flight recognized for something? Did you win a quarterly packet or a quarterly award or an achievement medal or things like that? They want to see what you've been doing and why you deserve this early promotion. And an important thing to do is know the deadline. Know when that package is due. Because, for example, I know I just said, hey, go look and see when you're eligible for your board or when your board is supposed to be. I knew my date. I knew, well, not the date, but I knew the month it was supposed to be in. And a couple weeks before my package was due, they were like, hey, just kidding, it's this month instead. So instead of 3 months to prepare, you have 3 weeks to prepare your package, and we need to send it up to the wing. So I was like, luckily I had been doing stuff already, and I had a lot of other stuff lined up that happened to fall before my package was due, but it was just a lot at once, and that's kind of what added to the stress factor of it for me personally, because, you know, I think it's just a personal thing with myself, you know, want like that perfectionism, perfection, what, you know, that holding myself to my standard and less about the validation of others and just like what I expect out of myself. So at the time it was a little mentally taxing, but we pushed through it and we got through it. Again, murder boards, your package will be sent up. Ask to see your package. Ask to see what it looks like after every murder board. Critique it, give your opinion. Like, hey, that's not exactly how it happened. This is what happened. Or, hey, I have another fact to add about it that I just gathered more information on. Or things like that. And when it gets sent up to the wing, all I gotta say is study your 1206. It will, oh, hi everybody. Meet my cat, Nico. Okay, bye, Nico. Know your package, know your bullets, know the importance behind them, because you may get asked, no, you will be asked a question on a random bullet that you don't know what you're gonna get asked on beforehand. Okay, I guess, whoa. I guess she's gonna chill with us today, so there's not gonna be any fixing that. All right, and then the board itself. This is, you know, the nerve-wracking part. This is what you need to physically prepare for, and I say physically as in practice. You need to practice your boards. So I'm here to give you all the tips and tricks on that. So basically, you need to know your procedures, you need to know your expectations, and you need to know how to perform for your board. And I say that because, for one, you will be sitting at attention the entire time. Y'all remember in tech school, feet together, hands here, like, well, in your lap, but that's what it is. When you are walking, first of all, we don't march on carpet. So if you're gonna be in a room that does not have carpet, you know, practice facing movements. However, mine was in a carpeted room, so it was more just like a sharp movements, but it wasn't marching. I wasn't at attention until I stood at my spot. So you're gonna stand at your spot at attention. You're gonna give your reporting statement to the chief. It's gonna sound something like, sir, A1 at the time, A1C, because that's what you are. You'll be like, sir, A1C so-and-so reports to the senior airman below the zone board as directed. Practice that reporting statement. Practice, 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 because that's the first thing coming out your mouth. And if you mess that up, then come on, man. Okay. So another thing is, when you are told to sit down, you will sit down and remain at attention. However, you have to, like me, I talk with my hands. I have not put my hands down since I started this video, but you have to keep your hands in your lap. I'm doing this because my legs are obviously not in the camera. On your lap. Don't move your fingers. Don't do this. Don't fidget. Don't shake your leg. Don't do weird stuff with your face. The only thing you are allowed to move while you're talking is your head, because you want to be able to give everybody adequate eye contact, and that is also very important and something you will get marked for. When you are being asked a question by a certain chief, do not only give them the eye contact to answer their question. You're going to give them their specific eye contact while they're asking you that question, but you're going to answer all of the chiefs. Like, I know, Chief so-and-so asked me this question, but I'm answering everybody. So keep that in mind, because you want to make them feel like they're all in the room with you, which they are, and you need to address all of them. Another big thing, when you were asked a question, whether it's at the beginning of your response or at the end, you need to thank them. You need to thank them for asking you that question. Show that respect. Thank you for taking the time to ask me this, and don't sound robotic. That is another big thing, and I'm probably going off kind of script of how I plan to speak on everything, but do not be a robot. They want to see that personality. So don't be like, thank you, Chief, blah, 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 and then the next person, thank you, Chief, thank you for that question, blah, blah, blah. Like, switch it up. Sound genuine with it. Like, for example, you could be like, I really appreciate that question. And then when you're answering a question, you want to recite, oh my goodness, you want to kind of recite the question in your answer. I'm sorry, y'all, this is so distracting. You want to recite part of the question within your answer. So if they're like, hey, oh my goodness. So if they're like, hey, can you tell me all the branches of the military? First of all, that will not be a question, but that's my example question. You're going to say, thank you for that question, Chief. All the branches of the military include boom, 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 boom. You don't want to be like, yeah, Air Force, Army. No, you want to, kind of like when you're writing like complete sentences, or when you elaborate in English class. I don't know. That's part of my advice for that. Another thing is bearing. You want to keep that military bearing. You can smile a little bit, like you can show personality, but they do not want to see laughing, tears, or like faces. I'm bad at making faces. I swear to God I am. But like in that moment, you want to be professional. Pretend you're in basic training. Don't make a face. If you mess up, do not make a face. That is part of the military bearing. They do not want to see your mess up on your face. They want to see how you can compose yourself, regather yourself, and keep it pushing. So I'll give an example for me. The first question I was asked by my chief, like my personal med group chief, so it's not that I didn't know the answer, but I had to think about it, because every question will be opinion based. There is no right or wrong answer. So it's not that I didn't know the answer, it's just not a question I had thought of before. So I really had to take that moment and be like, actually, yeah, let me think about it. And so I remember I was like, thank you for that question. Something that blah, 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 because it's kind of like test compromise to like give you exact questions that were asked. So I'm not gonna do that. But I was like, thank you for that question. And then I gave the intro to what his question was. And then I remember I sat there and I thought about it. And I looked around and like, I'm keeping eye contact, kept my face, but I'm not answering because I'm obviously thinking for my answer. And then I was like, actually, because it was a question like, what would you change? You might get questions like that. They're going to reference something related to the Air Force, maybe like a standard, an AFI, and they're going to say, what would you change about it? So I was like, no, I didn't say, don't say, And then I thought about it and I was like, hey, actually, obviously, I'm paraphrasing. I was like, I actually wouldn't change anything about it, but what I do appreciate about it is, and I went into it. So I still gave a strong answer. And at the end, my feedback, so you'll get feedback from your supervisor. You will not get direct feedback from the chiefs. But when I got my feedback, my supervisor was saying that I got praised and complimented for how I messed up. They didn't care that I messed up. I got praised for my bearing. I got praised for my response, because it ended up being a strong response. But they were like, they can tell they know you're actively messing up, or they know you're actively don't have an answer. But it's about how you compose yourself and how you push forward. And that is what I got praised for by every single chief on there. So hold it together, collect your thoughts, and deliver, and keep it pushing. It's okay. I'll be honest, the mock board was more intimidating than the real thing. And I think that's because, you know, I had a perception of what I was expecting. I was confident in what I was gonna go in and say, and I was just able to deliver. So, and chiefs are actually really nice and not as intimidating as it sounds given their rank. Confidence, that's my second point to the board. Be confident. Like, hey, I think I deserve this. Let me tell you why. You know, even if you confidently do not know the answer, be confident and you don't know. Or even if you're wrong, be confident in being wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just want to see how you present yourself. They're looking for that confidence. They're looking for that leadership, that go-getter mentality. They don't want nobody timid and, oh, well, like, no, believe in yourself. You're there for a reason. Honestly, you being put up for BTZ, whether you get it or not, holds just as much weight as you winning. I mean, no, you don't get the rank at the end of the day. Early. You will get the rank, not early. But it's like, hey, you were worth competing against. Like, you were competition. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you get there, they will congratulate you. They'll be like, congratulations on being here. They're going to introduce themselves, blah, blah, blah. And then going back to the answers, she's just going to do it. She's just going to be here. So when it comes to giving your answers, you want to know your stuff. Like, and I will actually show you notes that I took at my BTZ mock board. Kind of gauge what you need to be hip on. What you need to, you know, have research on and everything. Stop it. Hey, get off. You need to know your stuff. And again, opinion-based questions will be asked. But you need to have some sort of level, like base level knowledge, and most of it is going to be Air Force stuff that you should know already, so it's kind of more of a refresher opposed to like something brand new. Now, something that could be brand new for you would maybe be like a world event, and I'll get into everything that you need to know about it. I'll read this out in just a second. Actually, I'll read it now. So this is my little Air Force, babe, get down. This is my little Air Force notebook that I was given at FTAC and that I used for BTZ also. So I'm going to list out all the things they told us to like study, make sure you know. Now, you're only going to be asked one question per chief, and there will be about 4 or 5 on your panel, but you don't know what they're going to ask. So you need to know about the enlisted force structure. Okay, so you need to know about, you know, senior airman and staff sergeant is what I would brush up on, because senior airman is your goal, and then staff sergeant is going to have those, you know, NCO leadership qualities. And the point is just so you understand the foundation competencies, you understand what the rank that you're competing for entails and like the responsibilities of it. You want to look at your customs and courtesies, AFI, just read it, get an understanding of it. You need to know standards of conduct, current events. There's a ton of events going on in the world right now. Brush up on them. I understand there's like 1,001. There's a lot more than that. But, you know, pinpoint really important ones. You know, who does the military talk about the most? You wanna know about China, Russia, Ukraine, Iraq, Iran, like the Middle East. Just have a broad synopsis of what is currently going on. Now, they're not going to ask you a controversial question as far as like your opinion on things, but they may ask you like, hey, given this situation that happened, or given this situation and the response of the United States, do you believe this is an adequate response? Do you think this is appropriate? What would you change? Like things like that. They're going to give you a base to the question. So even if you don't know like the factual correct answer, you can kind of gauge and just give a complete answer. Learn about new, you know, Air Force stuff also, not just like world news, but Air Force news. Like, hey, they're allowing veterans to come back and join. but they can't promote. You know, you just want to kind of know about things like that. Know about your 1206. You'll be asked a question about that. Know your dress and appearance, okay? Know about your dress and appearance, AFI. Know about your dress and appearance, AFI, okay? Not only for questions, but to make sure you look good when you walk in, because that is another thing. A part of appearance is your uniform. You want to make sure that uniform is top-notch, perfecto, okay? I don't know, learn about the IG office, learn about EPB categories. Now that being a senior airman, you will have EPBs to do, and there are now EPBs instead of EPRs. So you want to see like, hey, how is the Air Force gauged these performance packages? Just know it. Even if you're not asked a question on it, just know it. Learn about your chain of command. Learn the Air Force symbol, PT, AFI, recruit quotas. Like, just know what's going on, okay? These are everything I wrote down as far as what you need to study and research on. And then back to the uniform part, you're gonna have a panel of people at a table. Someone right here might notice something on your uniform that the person right here does not notice, because maybe it's on this side of you. So that happened to me actually at the mock board. The NCO on the far right to me complimented something on my uniform. They were like, hey, I really like the seam in your pants. The seam that goes straight down the front of your pant leg. They were like, it looks really sharp, it looks really clean. An NCO right here, who was on the different side, was like, hey, I'm actually noticing a double seam, which was done by the dry cleaners, of course, that I did not notice. And he was like, I noticed a double seam, so my feedback is to just, you know, fix that, perfect it for the real thing. So that is something I fixed. And I didn't have any nitpick. Oh, on my actual real board, again, the NCO on the, or excuse me, the chief on this far left of me, he saw my name tag and he was like, he's the only one that pointed it out. This is per what my supervisor said. He was like, I'm not sure if anyone noticed, but from my point of view, it looked like her name tag may have been touching her collar. And again, that was a location perspective because it was not touching my collar. But just from where he was sitting, that is something he noticed and was like, am I seeing that right? So keep that in mind. You want to look good from all angles, baby, all angles. They will get nitpicky. This is a competition and they're gonna get down to stupid stuff. Like, they're gonna get down. Well, she had a couple flyaways, but her performance is great. Her package looks good, but someone else could have been better. And the thing is that your package and your board, your interview, they're two different grading scales and they hold completely different weight. You want them both to be strong, but what can happen? My BTZ mock board instructor told me that he's been in on a feedback thing, or how they rack and stack all of the promotees, I guess. I don't even know the word. And they were like, his package wasn't as strong and ranked kind of farther down, but his interview was top notch. So his package was here, but his interview was up here, and he got BTZ based off his interview. So it's not that they're they need both to be super high, but obviously aim for that. That needs to be your goal. That's what makes you competitive. So say you were up here with your interview and kind of here with your board or something. I don't know. They're going to get down to super tiny things, because what if y'all were all top notch and all perfect? Then what are you going off of? Now you have to go off super nitpicky things. So you just want to make sure to eliminate all of that to the best you can. Be careful with your verbal pauses, your ums and uhs and likes. I got that a lot because I say like a lot. So be conscious of it. Or smacking your teeth like that. When I was at my mock board and I was answering questions, I kind of did that naturally. Like, that's how I started. I'd be like, yeah, thanks for that. And it's not like I'm not smacking my teeth, but it was like a tongue on the top of my roof. I don't know what I was doing. I didn't even notice I was doing it, but they called me out for it and they're like, hey, you kind of like smack right before you start talking. Like, that's how critical they're gonna get. And also, not to mention, everything that I got critiqued for in my mock board was not critiqued during the real thing, because I noticed it within myself and I corrected it and I practiced. Another practicing technique is to record yourself. Record yourself walking, you know, standing at attention, turning, giving your reporting statement, and then practicing your intro, which I will get into next. You need an intro speech. It's like an elevator speech. It does not need to be longer than 2 minutes because you're gonna get there. You're gonna stand at attention. You're gonna give your reporting statement and they're gonna say, congratulations for being here. I'm Chief so-and-so and this is my panel. They're gonna introduce everybody and then they're going to tell you to sit down and then they're gonna ask you to tell them about yourself. This is where you have the opportunity to sell yourself. They saw you on paper. They saw the Air Force you. Now tell them tell them who you are. Tell them where you're from. What are your hobbies? What are your interests? What are your goals? They wanna see the human in you. You know what I'm saying? So I do have tips on how to create your intro speech. This is what you're going to do to practice. And don't necessarily make it verbatim, robotic, complete sentences. Oh, obviously complete sentences, but don't make it sound like you're reading what you wrote. Kind of have those mental bullet points in your head and the order you want to tell them in so that it flows naturally. You know, we add certain filler words and, you know, we're filling one way in one motion and it flows one way. Let it flow, okay? You want to sound like it's effortless, like, hey, this is me. Be confident in it. It's your story. Get confident in what you want to say and how you're going to deliver it because it's you. Who can describe you better than you? And I know that's honestly kind of, what's the word? I have no words today. Kind of be intimidating because, you know, I'm not that bad at public speaking if it's something I'm confident in and I can speak in. But when it comes to talking to myself, it's like, I don't know what to say. It's really hard talking about yourself and I get it. That's why you need to practice. Please practice so that when you get there, it's flawless, it's effortless. Hey, this is me. Thank you for taking this time to, you know, get to know me. I started it off, good morning, as stated, my name is A1C blah, blah, blah. I represent, you want to say represent, not a part, because you're coming in like I'm representing my unit. Like I am the airman that was selected within this great unit to come compete for BTZ. So, hey, I'm representing the blah, 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 blah. I currently work as I currently work as a pediatric medical technician at the main clinic, blah, blah, blah. And then you want to give 2 to 3 facts about you. So I mentioned, I think pediatrics is great for me given my love for children. I'm the aunt to 2 nieces and the godmom's my best friend's baby. Like that kind of shows, you know, the family and friend aspect of me. Like who am I to somebody? You know what I'm saying? And then I started talking about a hobby of mine and I talked about something else. I don't even remember, but it just, you want to give very brief, like, hey, this is me. This is, you know, what I like to do, what I'm interested in. And then you want to give short-term goals and long-term goals. This shows that, hey, I have a plan and that, you know, I know what I want to do, or I know the direction I want to go in. So I was able to give my short-term goals. And I was like, hey, by the end of the year, I plan on starting school for my degree in blah, blah, blah. And then for a long-term goal, I said, by the end of my first contract, I wish to achieve blah, 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 blah. I'm not giving you my goals yet. You'll see them when I get there. You want to show them like, hey, I have a plan, I have a goal. This is my initiative, this is my drive. This is what I'm working towards. This is optional. Maybe for a closing comment, you could maybe speak on an event that is not in your 1206. You don't want to tell them about what they just read and what, you know what I'm saying? So maybe if you did something super significant after your package was due that they didn't get to read, maybe you can speak on it. Or if there's just a fun fact you want to give, or whatever you think flows like the best on how to end your intro speech. They're gonna say thank you, blah, blah, blah. And I got complimented on my intro speech. You know, you want it to be strong. You want it to show, like I said, who you are, what you represent, and what you're working towards. That is very important. They want to see that multi-capable airman, you know, synopsis thing going on with you. I have no words, y'all. I'm so sorry. So then, yeah, like I said, practice it, practice it, practice it. Record yourself. Do it for other people. Get feedback. That's going to be so important. If you do not know how to take constructive feedback, now's your time to get used to that. You need to have the mindset that constructive criticism, is not to tear you down and tell you what you're terrible at. It's not to degrade you. It's to strengthen you. Take the feedback and charge it to the game. You know what I'm saying? Apply it. And get constructive criticism from someone whose opinion that you value and from someone who knows what they're talking about. Like, I don't even think I need to elaborate on that. Find your people, find your mentors, find your supervisors, find your peers, and get constructive criticism. Say, hey, how can I improve? What would you improve about my method? And then within constructive criticism, you get just as much praise as criticism, because they're like, hey, this is what I really liked and this is what I would strengthen. Like, hey, I think this quality is really strong in you. What you could improve in is this. Just be able to have the open mind that this is for my better good. This is not to degrade me in any way possible. This is for my success as a future higher ranking airman. And like, not even just for senior airmen. This is just kind of like a life thing in general. In and outside of the Air Force, if you can't be taught, you can't take constructive criticism, life's gonna be kind of hard for you. And just have that open mind that, hey, I'm not perfect and I can take someone else's opinion without it being like, don't be prideful and self-righteous. Like, just, you know, we all have our flaws. Learn what your weaknesses are so that you can strengthen them. Grasp that outer perspective of you, because we have perspective on ourselves that we see from the inside looking out. Get perspective on the outside looking in, you know what I'm saying? So that's my 2 cents on that. And then when it came to the feedback I got from the real board, my supervisor took notes. So I don't know if every supervisor is gonna do that, but ask your supervisor to, just to ensure that they did. I didn't ask mine. I didn't know what that was really gonna look like, to be honest. But he was like, hey, I took notes. And I was like, I love that so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And he went through what everybody said. So maybe consider, like, just bring it up to your supervisor, because your supervisor will be going with you. They'll be in the room with you when you interview. They're gonna walk in first, and then they're gonna hold the door open for you when you knock, because you have to knock to enter. When you're told to enter, you'll walk. When you walk in the room, you want to, you know, take the straightest direct path to the chair, and without, like, you know, staring at the chiefs the entire time, effortlessly scan the room. Like, you walk in, you scan the room, you stand there, you turn, you face, you address the chief in the middle. It was supposed to be my base chief, but he couldn't make it for whatever reason, so it was a different chief in his place. But there's a great possibility it will be the chief of your base. Speak to him. While he is speaking to you, that's when you keep the eye contact with him. As he introduces each person, look at them, look at them, look at them. They'll start from left to right, or, well, your right to left with the question. Give them the eye contact when they're asking the question, and then when you answer, look at everybody. And make it effortless. Don't look up at the ceiling, don't look up at the floor. If you're looking for your answer, which I do that sometimes, like, you'll see me, like, stare off over here, like, when I'm talking, because I'm looking for my words. Be conscious of that. And ask for in-house mock boards with your personal leadership. Maybe your SEL and your squadron commander say, hey, can we host an in-house mock board? Whether this is aside from mock boards that your base offers, or especially if your base doesn't offer those at all. I'm telling you, getting the practice and doing it before the real thing, it helps so much. And I think that's why I wasn't as nervous for the real thing, because I had done it before. If it was my first time walking in there, oh my goodness, I probably would have been a hot mess. Because there were airmen that we went up against that did not go to the mock boards. And I will say this, something I didn't know until I started preparing for BTZ was that sometimes they have more than one stripe to give out, meaning that more than one person will win BTZ for that quarter. I didn't know that prior. I thought it was, you know, all these airmen go up and only one person wins, and sometimes that might be the case, but they're not going to tell you how many they're giving out beforehand. So you just need to act as if there's one winner, and that one winner needs to be you. That's the mindset you need to have. Also, not to mention, for me and the quarter I went on, 6 of us went. There were 6 of us, 3 of us won, and all 3 of us, including myself, we went to those mock boards. So they are very important, very helpful. Now, the quarter right before me, if I remember the numbers correctly, there were 9 airmen, 4 won, but 3 of them had gone to the board, 1 didn't. So it's not to say that if you don't have a mock board, you can't or won't win. That's not what I'm trying to say, but I'm just trying to say it prepares you better, and it just helps you know what to expect because you have that practice and that actual feedback. Because when you do your mock board, you're gonna do your board, and then they're gonna talk about it. And that part was so hard because I had to go stand outside and pace for what felt like an hour, but it was really like 10 minutes. And then they're gonna come back in and they're gonna say, great job, blah, blah, blah. This is our individual feedback to give you. And again, constructive criticism, take it. So like I was said, like, hey, your intro was really strong. This is what I would critique though, you know? And sorry, I just had to switch positions. My phone died on me as I was recording. But I'm actually about to wrap this up. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, I missed something. Oh, this is so important. When you are done with your board, the last chief has asked you a question. Oh, I actually have more to say. You need to thank them for the opportunity. Thank them. I don't care how you word it. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for considering me today. Thank you, blah, blah, blah. Thank them for being there. That will hold so much weight. Another thing that's so important that I forgot to mention. If you truly do not have an answer, if you do not know the answer to a question they're asking you, that is okay. However, this needs to be your response. This is very important. You need to say, thank you for that question. Unfortunately, at that time, I do not have an adequate answer for you. You can also say, I do not know enough information to adequately give you an answer, or something like that. Say what I just said. And then you're gonna end it with, but I would like to be able to find that answer for you and get back with you. However you wanna word that, tell them you're gonna get back to them with an answer. That is very important. And then get back with them. It just shows the initiative. And like, first of all, I'm standing on my word. I told you I was gonna get back with you, and I did. And then it also shows, hey, I didn't know what you were talking about, but I want to learn about it. I want to have an answer for you. I want to blah, blah, blah. At the end, they're gonna say, do you have any comments or questions for us? Say you messed up a question, or maybe I'll say missed a question. Sometimes you'll be given 2-part questions. Make sure you answer both parts of those questions. But let's say you missed it. Let's say you forgot to answer the second part to a question, but you remembered it later. You can go back and you be like, oh, Chief, to answer the second part of your question, I don't feel like I, adequately answered it. This is my answer. Like, whatever you feel like you need to add, but you need to tell them, if you don't know, you need to tell them that you'll get back with them. And at the end, you need to thank them. That is so important. And then also, when you are leaving the room, you are being watched until that door is completely shut on you and you are no longer visible from anybody. So if you have a great exit, you walk outside, and as that door is shutting, you're seen in the crack, like, oh my God, freaking out. That counts. That counts and will be held against you. Wait until that door is shut to have any reaction if you feel the need to, let it out or get the nervousness and emotions off of you. Completely walk away from that door. Let's start there. You just keep walking. Just keep walking. Keep walking. Ensure the door is shut. And then just take a deep breath. Like, that's just a great way to start out. Take a deep breath. Don't start, doing jumping jacks and stuff, trying to get your emotions out. Just breathe. Like, honestly, it's over now. It's all said and done. That's when your supervisor is gonna stay in there. This is what sucks. Because then you gotta wait for your supervisor. So supervisor's gonna get the feedback. Then you're gonna go. And they're also not gonna tell you like the next day. I didn't get told for like 2 weeks that I won. So that was, I wasn't actively stressing it because I was just like, if I got it, I got it. If I didn't, I didn't. I knew I got amazing feedback. I knew my chances were high, but I was like, I don't know. So I'm not gonna stress about what I don't know. But yeah, of course, at some point you get antsy because it's like, okay guys, like, are you gonna tell us now? I think, referencing my notes, I think I have covered everything. So I don't know how long this video is. I try to go as fast as I can and keep it short. I know my videos are always super long. If you ever watch all of them all the way through, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I try to keep this one condensed, straight to the point, and give as much valuable information that I could. I did have an airman I went to tech school with reach out to me on Instagram, and she was like, hey, I saw you won BTZ. I'm about to go up for my board. Do you have any pointers? And I basically told her everything I just told y'all in like 4 different paragraphs, typed it out, general synopsis. And she came back to me and she's like, oh my God, I took your advice. I won. Thank you so much for all your help. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. So take this advice and best of luck. There's also a YouTube video that you can look at that we were instructed or advised to look at our mock boards. It's a little outdated. Just look up Air Force BTZ. I don't know. It's a little outdated. So certain things like facing movements won't really apply, but a lot of it still is accurate and relevant. So that kind of gives you the visual. If you don't have a visual of everything I just said, that'll kind of give you a visual of what it's going to look like. So reference it, practice, record yourself, get your feedback, do your mock boards, and best of luck, guys. Please comment, let me know if you have any specific questions. I know some of you guys like to reach out to me in my DM, and I have no issue with that. But I think for a video like this, it might be more relevant if you have a question to ask it on YouTube so that others can also, you know, see my response if it's something that I can answer. If your board is coming up, if you won BTZ, you know, in the future after this video, let me know. Like, I like to know. I like to congratulate you guys and support you along the way and give whatever encouragement that I can. So that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for tuning in with me today about Senior Airman Below the Zone. Best of luck. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, share it to someone who is about to go down this, you know, path to promotion. And yeah, I hope y'all have an amazing day. Bye.